better with going live because I don't do that enough, and I actually need to do that more because I think it's a productive way to be, just going live to see what's going on in these Saturday streets. Don't mind me. I know I was thinking about that young lady that they just found in Conyers. Um, sorry about that. That they found in Conyers, Georgia, deceased. The young black mother that had those four small children, and her husband is in custody. I was just thinking about that. I really didn't have a topic to talk about, but I definitely want to dive in a little bit regarding what happened to that young lady. It just goes back to what I've been speaking up about, and I'm speaking out about, is these young ladies that are so focused on these relationships that they haven't done their homework um, to understand the type of relationships and men that they're getting involved with. And this isn't a bashing men session because people are people. Every gender has a struggle. So it is what it is in that aspect. But being a woman and being the mother of a young woman, I definitely have some concerns when it comes to these young women, what they're being taught and how they perceive relationships. A lot of these young girls, and I went through it in my younger days, we go through that stage in life where we want to be in a relationship, we want to be special to someone, but I don't think young ladies of today is being reared properly and getting the information that they need. Prime example, not that the sprinkle lady gives bad information in a lot of areas, because she gives good information, but then she gives some information that's far left that could be very dangerous. And a lot of these young girls are so impressionable because they want to live that life, because social media has really left an impression on best life, right? Um, that they jumping in these situations, and unfortunately, uh, a lot of times they don't know who they dealing with, and a lot of these, not even young ladies, middle-aged women, but more younger women than not, are dying. And I personally am moved and saddened when I continuously see these young black women being unalived for no apparent good reason. And when it's not no longer uncommon, um, then we're in an epidemic. And the truth of the matter is, nobody wants to talk about mental health, which I speak out about it. I encourage it within the minority and the African American community, um, because your mind is a major part of your existence. That's like the engine of all. And people still are not taking their mental health as serious as they should. Many people don't have the coping skills that they need in order to navigate life properly. And when your feelings get hurt or you have these panic attacks, and people, they wild out and they act out, and they're committing unaliving events. And it's just a sad situation because I know a lot of people are not putting in the work that needs to be done to address the mental health that's plaguing our society, plaguing our culture, plaguing our younger generation. And we as middle age and older people, we have to take these matters in our own hands and start speaking out so we can educate these younger generations. Because what happened to that young lady in Conyers, Georgia, is just unfortunate. And more, I'm seeing so many young children being left without their parents. One is unalived and one is in jail. Or a lot of times, you know, these people are taking both themselves and the other one out. And now you have all these young children that are being displaced. I mean, they're with family, but it's still displaced when you're not raised with your parents. So I believe, excuse me. And so that's what I think, and I will continue to speak out. And let me tell you something else that I need to address. There's a lot of people. So over a month ago, I made a video about Peach McIntosh. Didn't know about her. You know, you can look in my videos and see the videos. Made about two about Peach. Didn't know anything about her, but once I became aware of who she was, I was highly disappointed because she has a lot to offer, but her level of ignorance and just toxicity is just off the charts. And I'm aware and educated enough to know when somebody is doing something that's unethical. And I spoke out about it with Uncover Breastfeeding and uh, how she is hustling her story. That's my take, my thoughts. And a lot of people, well, not a lot, but I get people here and there that drop their little snide remarks in the comments, mind my own business, and I'm hating. Number one, I ain't hating, and I am mind my business. Until we get to the point as a society and as a culture that we are separated, then I'm going to address hot mess. I'm going to address ignorance because they lump us all together, and collectively, um, it affects all of us. And what I do not like is these older women that support it. Shame on them for their level of ignorance. It doesn't help the culture. It doesn't help younger generations. And you too old. Do better. Shame on you. You do have responsibility. People don't want to step up and own up to responsibility. You don't have to be up close and personal, but when you know better, you do better. And some of y'all too old to be acting like a fool as you do. And you ain't gonna stop me from speaking up. You ain't gonna stop me from calling out ignorance and disrespect. Period. Period. So find somebody else to leave those negative comments because you don't move me. I wasn't born yesterday, and I don't scare easily. And I'm going to address when I see black people acting a hot mess and ignorant because we all clump together, and that it is what it is. And we have to do better. And when I see you doing less than what you can and should do, I got time. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call you out, period. But anyway, what else going on in these streets? I'm excited. So I've got the first stage where I can get super things. Hey, I'm progressing. We're progressing. So I'm happy about that. I'm still working towards the last stage to be monetized, but I'm at the first stage with the super things. So you'll see it out there, and I'm thankful for that. I definitely will continue to push forward to grow this platform because, again, I am passionate about being a mental health advocate for minority communities and speaking up and speaking out about life lessons, teachable moments, and just educating the black community on what mental health is, because the truth of the matter is we was raised wrong, we was taught nothing, and it's a lot of people that need to be on something because they out here wilding out. They have become adapted to toxicity and pain and act like it's normal behavior when it's not. And we have been told, like, oh, when somebody suffers depression and anxiety, to shake it off and tough it up. Sometimes people can't just shake it off and toughen up. Sometimes people need some support, with, be it therapy or medication, and pills don't make you crazy. Acting a fool out there, acting crazy make you crazy. There's a lot of different resources that can help people. And as the minority community, we need to do better. I'm going to keep pushing forward because it needs to be addressed. You know, that day of thinking, oh, we don't do that. Or when you hear these bizarre stories or people lashing out, the day of thinking, oh, well, we know it ain't black people is over, because many times it is us now. And people do not have the coping skills, the emotional capacity to handle these stressful times, and all these stressors in life, and they lashing out. And unfortunately, nobody's doing nothing about it. The problem is greater than it's ever been. And yeah, those buzzwords are pretty, but ain't nobody doing nothing about it. I've been speaking out about mental health. Actually, I started identifying back in 2010. I thought I would facilitate it. Oh, I identified something's going on in the black community. I thought, oh, I could start speaking up and speaking out and teaching classes. But, God don't happen that way. He said, he granted me the opportunity to start speaking out about it, but he took me through it. I speak out about it now because I've been through it. I talk about it because I know about it. I've been there. And I'm reaching out because I care. And I'm telling you, when you just start paying attention to what's going on, everything falls back to mental health. I don't care what nobody say. I'm speaking about what I know. A lot of times, and let's be honest, more times than not, a lot of what happens to people is because of the environments that they was raised in, or somebody broke their heart. Um, and it's unfortunate. I'm a single black woman. It's more black women, single middle-aged black women than not, just like me. Shout out to us. We surviving, and I'm implementing my best life, and I'm taking y'all with me, and I want you to join me. But too many of us have the same stories. Women that have been either emotionally abused, physically abused. I wasn't physically abused, because if you hit me, I'm gonna crack your head. But anyway, a lot of us have similar stories, that we have been abused, emotionally cheated on, lied to, and people want to run around here and act like they have this best life, but it's more women that have experienced what I know to be true than not. And the day of women lying to themselves and to others is old. It's time that we get well. And it ain't about running out here telling your business, but let's not pretend, because pretending can become dangerous. And then people buy into these facades, and ain't nobody healing. See, I quit lying to myself. I started looking life and everything in it, and the people that was involved in my life. I looked at it for what it was, and I started to be honest. Some got to stay, and then others had to go. We hold on to these toxic environments, relationships, because we're addicted to it, because we're conditioned to function in unhealthy environments, and it's not the proper way to live. Being very aggressive. Now there's times when you have to show people I'm not the one to play with, but there's people out there, they live with that type of personality and that level of aggression every single day. That level of aggression is eating away at you internally. That's why they say stress is a silent killer. That's a real thing. That's why I no longer subscribe to that strong black woman life. See, that almost killed me, literally. I was working, managing people, had a high stress job, day in and day out, taking on the brunt of all the stress and addressing all the toxic and aggressive behavior. At some point, it caught up with me. I started to have major migraines. My arms started to hurt. I started to go to urgent care every day, because all that level of stress, day in and day out, caught up with me. And too many times than not, and then being in a toxic, unhealthy relationship to top it off. See, we're women, we're people. And I'm telling you what I know. Buying into that strong black woman mentality, you taking years, days, months, and years off your life. I don't subscribe to that. I mind my own business. And if somebody needs someone to address all that stress, then you got to find somebody else to handle that mess, because I no longer subscribe or sign up for any of it. I live a soft life. I don't get involved with all that. Find somebody else to do it. And people will let you do it. Other cultures, will allow you to, black women and men, mostly black women. There's black men, but in the workforce, from my 20 plus years, black women typically are more assertive in corporate America. Some black men, but that's what I've experienced more. And a lot of times you become sick, because you're dealing with all that toxic mess. And I've even had people reach out to me asking me how I navigated it after I entered therapy, because I became sick, literally. I literally became sick from a toxic, high stress work environment and a unhealthy relationship. And I remember I had a African, she was African descent, therapist when I was in intensive therapy, and she was highly upset. She said, "What I endured, no one should have." And what's crazy is I had every symptom of PTSD, and I always associated PTSD with the military. But you can gain PTSD off of a toxic work environment and off a unhealthy relationship. You don't have to be in the military to acquire PTSD. I mean, my level of PTSD, it was the same as somebody that was in war. Just think about that for a minute. War. Don't let nobody do that to you collectively. And I'm talking specifically to African American women, because that's who I know, that's who I identify with, and anybody that can benefit from this, but specifically us. We no longer subscribe to that strong black woman mess. We live stress free lives. We live healthier, calmer lives. I used to feel like I had something to prove to somebody, so I could get aggressive just because it was second nature. I don't let nobody dictate to me how I respond anymore. I stay calm. I can express myself without all the aggression. I can achieve my goal without checking somebody. When you live your life in a matter of aggression, you are not controlling it. You are letting situations and circumstance dictate how you live, how you react. And eventually it's going to catch up with you. And being middle age, uh, you start to feel differently. You ain't as young as you used to be. I mean, I see a lot of these middle-aged women that, still acting like they in their 20s, and shame on them. Act your age, and not, you ain't got to be old, but your knees, I know hurt. So get up from twerking, and adjust yourself to where you at in life. Grow old gracefully. You know, um, pass down wisdom. A lot, I look at life and I look at people I grew up with, and the truth of the matter is, um, a lot of people then died. A lot of people have they just dropped. The older generation, they going out more gracefully. They stand here for the time that life expectancy, but it's the younger people that's getting up out of here. And I made a decision in my life. I made a decision that I was worth um, a different experience. I knew from the way I grew up in the environments that I was exposed to, both internally and externally, they all looked alike. I say, we, as a community of people, addicted to pain, addicted to toxicity, being unauthentic. I said it's a different way of life than this, and I be darned if I'm not going to experience it. So I start creating um, the life and the environment that I wanted to exist in, and in order to achieve that, I had to start letting some people go. Um, I had to learn how to live alone. I had to learn how to love myself and to authentically enjoy myself. And it was not a easy experience or easy transition. A lot of hard work went into that, a lot of pain, a lot of tears. But now I'm on the other side of that, the more healthier side, the side that I'm at peace. I'm at peace with me. I'm at peace with life. It's a beautiful thing. And I want more people to experience it because so many people say, I love myself, but I know they don't because it's a learned behavior. And you just don't get there by saying it. It's a lot of things that you got to do to really get to that plateau and that ultimate existence of self-love. You really have to seek that out and understand what that is. And you can simply know when somebody loves themselves by the environment that they exist in, by the relationships that they have, by the toxic work environments that they exist in. I addressed my job too. I held everybody accountable in my personal life and at work. I went to the highest level at work and held them accountable for what happened to me. Said I came here healthy and ain't nobody gonna stop me from getting well. You didn't stop me from down there killing myself. You're not gonna stop me from getting well. I held everybody accountable. It was because I had to, because I was dying and people will let you die. Now I'm much healthier. I'm healing for the rest of my life though, because I can no longer exist in those um toxic, unhealthy environments, both personally and professionally. Like I don't manage people anymore, praise God, and I don't ever want to. I help many, many people throughout my career succeed and get their careers and lives in order. But there comes a time where you got to put yourself first. And I had to learn that. I could do a damn good job helping other people put their lives together. But when doing that, my life was falling apart. And I no longer do that. I have to put me first. And as we all should, I had to learn how to put myself first. Even before my family and my kids, I have to be first. I have to be the best version of me so you can experience the best version of me. People have that philosophy, oh, but your kids come first. No, you should come first, not in a selfish way, in a productive, healthy way, so that you could be the best person for others. But see, people don't take the time to really understand about themselves nor life. And so you raise unhealthy kids, you pass on bad behaviors and exist in toxic environments, and you never get to experience what a true healthy lifestyle is. And that's the journey I'm on. That's the space that I live in. And one way I can honestly tell you is my spirituality. This walk, I've went every step of the way with the support and the love of God. I could not have gotten here without it, and it hurts my heart that there's so many people out there that don't believe in God, but I ain't one, and it's not up for debate. I am a strong believer in God, and I'm proud of my faith. So I don't play with that, and I don't let nobody play with that with me. Uh, I know what the power of God has done for me in my life, and I stand on that. And I like to testify and share it because at my lowest times, He showed up. And I'm grateful, I'm humble. And I want other people to experience what I experience and know what I know. But more than anything, I speak out because God told me to. And I'm being committed to my obedience. Excuse me. But I definitely do have to come on more because the only way to grow this platform is to become very comfortable in every aspect of it. Going live, making videos, reaching to other levels, and this is where I'm at home. Like when I'm able to speak my truth and I'm able to support somebody in stepping in theirs and getting healthy and honest with themselves. That's when I'm alive. And you can have a good job. Uh, you can have a lot of material things, but you ain't living until you live in your purpose. And what I've come accustomed to know and know true in my heart is when I'm speaking out truths, when I'm supporting other people like me to um, to live in their truth and to grow and to heal. That's when I'm alive, and that's a beautiful thing when you experience living in your purpose. And I think more people should do that. I know growing up my whole life, you always want to know, like, why am I here? What's my purpose? And I didn't even know it for a long time, but I was very good at helping other people. And then when I would always be at a function, a family event or a function, and when I would stand up and speak my heart to the audience, I just felt alive. I felt charged, like just on cloud nine. And I said, that has to be what purpose feels like. And so coming out on this platform, being authentic, just as much as I try to help someone else, when people leave encouraging words in the comments or send me an email, that helps me. You all help me just as much as I help you, because at the end of the day, people can be so arrogant, but I done been here a while. I didn't experience a lot of people, and life didn't taught me a lot of things. This ain't about me. This is bigger than me. It's bigger than you. It's a collective collaboration and agreement amongst us that we want to do better. We want to live better. We want to support one another. You can't walk this thing alone, neither can I. And I think sometimes, with this social media thing, people can lose their way or become so full of themselves that they forget what this thing is about. And that's why you have to reset. I stay resetting myself to make sure that I don't never sway from what my purpose is, for what my mission is and my message, and that is to help someone else. People can be so consumed with themselves that they forget to help somebody else. And you don't never want to be like that. I am most blessed when I receive confirmation that I have helped someone else. It's a beautiful thing. And I believe that it does add hours, days, and months and years to your life. And I I I I get a lot out of the comments. I read every last one of them, and I try to respond to every last one. If I miss one, it wasn't because I saw it and didn't respond. Because for somebody to take their time out their day to come by and see me or listen to what I have to say, I am appreciative of that. Genuinely, truly, I am appreciative of that, and it means something to me. So thank you for leaving comments. I love them. I receive them, and I appreciate people all that are here. Um, and I definitely look to grow this platform. Ultimately, my goal is to grow it, because with the social media, when you grow it, there's opportunities for funding, and my goal is to go out into communities. And set up programs and support to help minority community about mental health, and and transition into a healthy way of life. It just ain't about coming on here, oh, I got something to talk about. No, there's an end goal in mind. Um, I um, I want to touch and reach people, not just via the internet. I think that the greatest work that will be done is when you are able to go into communities and connect with people. I never want to be so connected to social media that you don't have the opportunity to physically engage people. Like, that's going to always be the healthy way. And I believe that it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I put that in the universe. And I'm just excited about what the future holds. I hope you're excited too. I hope you continue to join me. The best way to support platforms is to share, comment, um, which is free. So please do that to help, grow this community. Recommend it to somebody else, because at the end of the day, if not you, you know somebody that needs some help. You know somebody that, They need to get their lives together, or they need some encouragement. We all need some encouragement. And, they out here, I say, if you can get and I don't even need 1 million followers, but if you can get 1 million followers watching mukbangs where people eating like a horse and a hog, we definitely can grow this community, talking about minorities, mental health, and healthy lifestyle, and getting well, because that's what's most important. You can eat like a hog all you want to, but once your mind ain't right, everything going down the drain anyway. And so that's what I care about. I care about y'all. I care about our mental health. And I want each and every one of us to either get or stay well. I had to get well. Now I'm well. And I want others to join me, because I know what it's like to have struggles in life. I know what it's like to feel alone. Um, I learned about what anxiety is, which that ain't nothing to play with. And depression will stump your productivity in life. And you deserve to have a good life. Carmel, how you doing, sister friend? Welcome. Thank you for showing your face. I know some people out there, but I don't know who I'm talking to. So I know Carmel is one of them. Thank you for being here. Much love to you. Um, but I'm here, because, like I said, I care about us. I care about Black women. You didn't? I I wonder why. But I don't go on. I was just talking about that earlier, that I'm gonna start going live more often. Like, I don't go live a whole lot, which I'm about to change that. I actually was gonna do a poll to see like a good day and time, like what people prefer, like the majority. But I don't know why, because I don't know. Next time I go on, I'll look to see if there's a notification, but I'm still learning, so I'm not 100% sure. But I appreciate you coming, and I hope if it is on my end, that I get that together, because I would definitely want y'all to know that I'm live, because I want to just as much as I want to come on and introduce myself and get people more familiar with me, I want to know you. And because at the end of the day, I don't want to just be anybody, and I don't want you all just to be anybody. I would like to get to know people, as much as is appropriate, and because that's important to me. And regardless, this social media thing, it ain't going away. And there's some names that I know, and I like, that to grow. You want to get to know people, and and present yourself so people can know who you are authentically. There's so much fake stuff going on in the world. um I live in an authentic space, and that's what I welcome. That's what I want to manifest, within this platform, that you know we get to know one another. So um I appreciate you speaking out. But um, together we can do anything, and I'm excited. What I know to be true is, you got a lot of people that they out here playing games, but it's a lot of us that live authentically and looking for authentic people, and that's what I offer in this space, and I'm going to protect that and those in it, because what's going on out here is serious. And those of us that really know what's going on in the world and want to participate in a healthy, authentic space, you got to protect that, because it's people out here in these street wilding out. And and I have to tell y'all this now. I live a happy life, and I try to live a calm one, but I can pop off. So if y'all see me in the comments talking smack, just keep on moving. Don't mind me, because some of these people in the comments I have to get with here and there. But yeah, I'm excited about what we doing, y'all. And I think I definitely will try to definitely go live on Saturdays. And amen, we got to protect that peace. I tell you what, I don't I don't play with that. It took me many years to get my peace, literally. Um, and once you truly acquire your peace, I don't play with it with nobody. I don't play with it with my job. I don't play with it with my kids. I don't play with it with my family. Hey lady. Hey logical thinker. I was wondering if you was coming on. Um, we all have to protect our peace though. A lot of times, I did a video earlier and you'll see me like I like to be jovial and I like to joke when I do like my little short videos. I did one earlier about me being a Gen X and our kids were millennials. That you really can't tell nothing, something to that effect. And I said, and they kids, I'm scared of them. I was being funny, but there's a lot of truth. Like, this is, with different generations there's just different mentalities. And a lot of people, like, they don't even know how to deal with these younger generations, and they run in circles around them. And a lot of people stressed out, because the way, like, I was with my parents, my kids ain't the same with me. But the difference is I don't let my kids run me. And a lot of people stressed out over, they kids. I don't let nobody, my job, my family, nor my kids break my peace. You have to protect your peace, because if you don't have peace, you don't have nothing. And a lot of people struggle with that. I struggled with that until I knew better. Now that I knew better, I don't play with nobody. How did you deal with family members' questionable attitude towards you when you decide to step away and take care of you? So let me tell you what happened to me. I managed people since my 20s, right? I was reading that comment. I'm sorry, I lost my thoughts. So I've managed people since my 20s. So I always was able to help others and manage them. Um, but it drained me. And then I also was drained in my personal life. So I actually prayed to God, because I was helping so many people better themselves, but in the end I wasn't growing, and it went on for years. And one day I was just drained. So I prayed to God about I needed a new circle. I needed to be in an environment where somebody was teaching me. And God started wiping people out of my life. I mean, like, when I tell you, seriously, be careful what you pray for, because God will respond. He responded so quick, it shook me. It shook me so bad, I called my pastor to talk about it, because he took out people in my life that I wasn't expecting. But some of them was family members. It was hard. It was hard because I actually went through a phase in my life to where I wasn't talking to many people at all. But now that I'm on the other side of that, I understand it. During that time, it was hard. I went through a lonely phase, but my spirituality grew. I did a lot of praying. And then I had to start learning how uh, to fill my days in a different way, because I wasn't talking to a lot of people. And I started to gain strength to accept that some people wasn't mentally healthy enough to have a front row seat in my life, and to accept that the the dynamic of our relationship and our existence wasn't going to be the way that I thought it was going to be. No, I didn't feel guilt. I felt sad. I felt sad in a way, because it's almost like a death. It's because something is ending. It's ending. Like, so I'm the youngest of five girls. The youngest of five girls. My whole life, we got the same mother and father. Grew up with my sisters. I always thought me and my sisters were very close. Very close. And like, I seen other people, and I always used to say, we, like, me and my sisters ain't like that. Like, I always looked at me and my sister's relationship at the highest regard, like we was close. But I had to be honest with myself. And some of us ain't that close. And I had to accept that not every sister I had a heart like mine. And I was tired of getting my feelings hurt by particular sisters. So I had to start being honest with myself. Hey AJ, welcome. I'm glad to see you. And because I went over a year without talking to one of my sisters, and you could have never told me that that would happen. Now, fast forward today, we still don't talk all like that. We're cordial. I love her, she loved me, but I accept our relationship for what it is, and I quit lying to myself. And I do a lot of videos about quit stop lying to yourself to heal. That's real. I quit lying to myself about relationships in my family, and I start telling myself the truth about what they really was and accepting them. And when I start accepting the truth about my relationships in my family, then that's when my healing began. And the dynamics of how I interact with them change, because I no longer have a false expectation. I see this relationship, it ain't what I have convinced myself all these years that it was. It ain't nowhere near that. And when you start living in truth, it is what it is. And it's no longer guilt. You go through a short period where you mourn because you feel like it's a loss. But then you gain the strength, because once you start living in truth, truth will, number one, set you free, and truth will give you strength. And once you get past that stage and that healing begins and you get strength from truth, then all the other stuff, it don't move you. It don't move you. But you got to be honest. And people will use you up. Family, friends, work, they will use you up if you let them. You have to live in your truth, Carmel, family or not. You know, I started to accept, and I had my moments where I would think about, like, like, it's sad that it's this way. But if it's that way, it's that way. And I no longer go down memory lane, or I don't mourn it. I accept it and I move on, because time is precious and my life is too valuable. And in the end, I know the type of person I am. I know the heart that I have, and I ain't lost nothing. It's your loss. And I don't say that cocky. I say that sincerely. When relationships end in my life, I have lost nothing, but they have lost, because to have me, you have a friend, you have loyalty, you have a genuine person. And what you have to accept, when you look at yourself and you are comfortable with who you are, then you lost nothing. It's they lost, and you go on. I find myself drawing. You have to stop that. You have to hold yourself accountable, Carmel. So we all didn't been there. I didn't relearn lessons uh many times. But it comes a time in your life where enough is enough. And you have to hold yourself accountable. Like, I know some people that are in bad relationships, and for years I talked to him about the same old thing. Until one day I stopped. I said, I don't have any more to tell you. You know everything I know. You know everything you need to know, Carmel. It's a decision that you have to make. How they say, you you'll have enough when you sick and tired of being sick and tired. But see, it's not necessary to keep taking yourself through changes. Old saying goes, in order to predict future behavior, then look at past. That's a fact. That ain't something somebody made up. That is a fact. If you want to know what the future look like, look at the past with that person. My daughter, she'll be a sophomore in college, and try to teach her that lesson. But sometimes people got to knock their head on the ground a couple of times before they learn. But I don't believe in doing that. See, when you get as old as me, you only got to tell me once, and then, because I'm listening. You don't have to keep telling me. When you know, you know. It's what you do with that information. Try to tell my daughter, she first little boyfriend, he got popular in high school. Then he, dropped her off, wanted to date everybody else. And then when ain't nothing going on in his life, he want to come back. My daughter was doing very well in high school, class president, just honors, like doing off the charts in the Catholic school. And I'm spending money too. I ain't out here playing, trying to help you be the best. her senior year, she was homecoming queen, all this stuff. Then her little dude want to come back her senior year because she popping, and he didn't ran through half the girls in the high school. Now she's shining. You want to sit in her shine. I tried to tell her, he couldn't stand with me, but this your life, I wouldn't take him to prom with me. I said, and he ain't he's a liability. He ain't no asset. I said he need therapy. I spent a lot of money on my daughter to go to therapy. I said, I wouldn't be bothered with him, but everybody got to learn their lessons. Fast forward, I told her, I said, and cut him off. I said, don't let the same thing happen to you in your freshman year of high school happen to you in your freshman year in college. I said, he done showed you who he is. When he go to college, he gonna meet a new set of girls, and then he gonna start this process over again. He gonna put you to the side, until they don't want to be bothered with him. Happened to her again her freshman year, last year. I said, now enough of this shit. Excuse my French. I said, I'm paying too much money, and therapy ain't cheap. You either take advice or you gonna have to feel this. Exact same things happen. I say that to say again, karma. It's all about the quality of life you want to live. You done been down that avenue. It is what it is. You either gonna keep going back to start and reset and going through the mess, or you gonna embrace the pain and the experience and move on from it and experience something different. It's that's the only choices you got. Keep resetting and not learning nothing and going through the mess, which is gonna tear away at your mind and your body in the end until you get sick. And I don't know your story, but trust me, you ain't got the kind of time you think. We look up and 10, 20 years beat and went by. Just yesterday, I was 20 years old. I'm in my late 40s now. Don't play with your life like that. See a situation for what it is. I'll give you another example, and I live by this. I used to always be stuck on hope. Hope somebody gonna get better, or you see potential in a situation. And this ain't just like with in a love relationship. This with family, just in relationships, period. Hoping that and thinking that things gonna get better as time go on. Hope will pimp you and rob you of your life. I don't live in hope, not another day. What I do, I live in reality. Hope robbed me of many years of my life. I hope all that happened. But until it do, I'm going to live over here in reality. I'm going to live in what's going on today. Because a lot of people didn't waste their life away on hope, on potential. And you don't want to do that. Look at life for what it is. You can have hope, but circle back with that hope when it happened. Until then, I got to go on with my life. Too many people out here playing with their life, and you just don't want to do that. People think they have time that they just don't have. Those of us that's in our 40s and up, we know how precious time is. Yup. Logical thinker says, yup, we can't want better for them than they want for themselves. Amen. This hope thing is almost a waste of time. No, I know it is. I have no problem moving on from loving relationships. I can't seem not to feel obligated to certain family members. So true story about me. My mother, I'm the youngest, like I told you, I'm the youngest. My mother, everywhere I've lived until I moved out the state of Ohio, I'm originally from Ohio. Um, my mother lived with me every home I ever owned until other than here. And I love my mother. I love my parents, dearly. My father's deceased now, but I loved my parents. I love my parents. Um, I had to learn how, and I can't get no closer than you can't really get no closer than your mother and your kids, right? I finally had to walk away. And I probably felt more obligated than anybody to my mother. And she had 4 other daughters. But I had this strong sense of obligation to my mother. There came a time where I had to live for me. I had to set myself free. And that's the best thing I ever did. Um, but it's not easy. I had to coach myself. I had to continuously push myself to be that way. Oh, wow, AJ, I'm sorry to hear that. That's rough. That's tough. But you have to, you gon' people gon' let me tell you this, Karma, this is something else I know. People don't have no problem with you being obligated, and they will let you be obligated. You have to make a decision. So when you say those relationships, if those relationships aren't serving you well, if they are hurting your quality of life or your your mental state, if it's not serving you well, then you have to I've learned to choose me first. And that's above everybody. I had to learn to choose me first over my mother. I've had to learn to choose me first over my children, over my sisters, over my everybody. Because I was dying. I mean, and I'm not just saying that. I literally was dying. I was sick as hell. I was breaking down. And if I didn't turn that thing around, I really don't think I would be here. I'm the first person I know to have caught COVID. That's because I had a very weak immune system. I was recovering from a severe case of depression. And it's all dealing with other people's stuff. I didn't have all these issues in my life. I was dealing with all the mess with everybody else. And then what? I'm gonna kick over and I'm gonna pass away. And guess what? Life gonna go on without me. So I made a decision. I want to live. I want to experience some things before I get up out of here. And in order to do that, I had to let go of what I was told, what I knew to be true, and focus on what I knew could happen. And that was a better quality of life. And I'm headed there just like, and I'm excited because I'm encouraging and I want to take more people with me. Not even here, but like create this thing to where like we could form some and support each other in a more authentic way. Like I'm taking a day off soon. Um and I'm gonna jump on a train and go spend a day in Manhattan. And I'm from the Midwest. So being, operating on major train systems isn't my background, but I'm strong enough to do it because I'm going to live a different life. But I had to let a lot of things go in order to get to where I am today. And it wasn't easy, but it was honest. It was honest truths to myself. I look myself in the face and one by one I start walking down the lies and I stop lying to myself. And that's what you got to do. Amen. And I'm glad you here. I know it was hard. Um, and that's what's so heartbreaking, AJ. Karma, I hope that helped you. Is when I see, like when I was talking about a little earlier before people was coming on, I'd just be rambling off that young lady in Conyers, Georgia, um, that her husband is in custody. She mother of four, she gone. It's so many people, young people that I'm seeing that are going to be coming up with no parents, and it's becoming so common that it's disturbing, um because you're hearing it more and more week by week. It's a new story, somebody going to jail and somebody's deceased, and these young kids is you know you have family that supports you, but at the end of the day, ain't nothing like being raised by your mother and your father, that your immediate family. And every time I hear that, and I know young kids have lost their parents, it's a hurtful thing, and my heart goes out to them because you're already dealing with so many things in life already, and your family love you, but not like your parents. And I don't care what nobody say. That's some of them rotten out there, but most parents, they have an authentic love for their kids, and don't nobody love you like your parents in a lot of cases. Um, and there's a lot of kids out there that just don't have any, and that's gonna be another situation as time go on, that as these children grow older, that has to be dealt with. And I'm just really sensitive and in tune with what's going on with these younger generations because it's a lot of moving. components to what they're being exposed to, their mental health, their development and interaction with people physically in real time. The aftermath of that is it's yet to be seen. And we see what's going on in this world, and it just seems like the community of I call normal, decent people is decreasing more and more. And I'm not gonna be moved. I know what normal is. I know what decent is. I know right and wrong, and can't nobody move me. And ain't nobody gonna make me adjust to anything other than what I believe. Like all these rights for other people, I got rights too. I don't knock nobody, but you ain't gonna knock me neither. And that's what keeps me healthy, by being able to be authentic and true to what I know. So that's what I think about that. But karma, hallelujah, you got that right, AJ. Did that help you? Did that help you out? I hope it did. But I'm so glad y'all came. Seriously, I'm definitely gonna go live. Hey Jazz, welcome. Glad you're here. Tell me this, if y'all can, in the comments. I wanted to absolutely, and anytime you got a question, if I got an answer, I'll definitely give it to you. Um, or if I don't know, I'll say, I ain't the one to ask on that. But at the end of the day, if you don't take nothing else away, take away, do whatever you got to do to protect your peace and be healthy. Um, because if you sacrifice yourself for other people, it's just a matter of time before you ain't gonna be able to offer up yourself to nobody, and you deserve to live a happy, healthy life, and make sure you do that for yourself because you deserve it. Jazz says my grandma passed away from cancer. Oh Lord, I'm sorry to hear that, Jazz. My heart go out to you. May God bless her soul. And that's another thing. Death is hard. Death is very hard, and I'm very sensitive to earthly pains. And when people going through stuff, a lot of people running around here don't have a conscience. I have a conscience. Like I genuinely care about people, and I know it's a blessing. A lot of people don't have a conscience, and I try to, make sure that I stay tapped into my conscience, because when people get desensitized, that becomes a very dangerous person. And like, people need to know that it's people out there that care. Uh, back when I was going through my struggles, and I, my health was just at its lowest. Like, everybody wants somebody to care, and when you feel like ain't nobody there, that you all alone, that's a bad space to be in. And I don't ever want nobody to feel like that. I felt like that before in my life, but the pandemic was happening, and it was a lot going on. So all I had was God, and he did take care of me. But we all need somebody to care, and I think that's important. I think a lot of people also get caught up in bad situations because they don't have a support system, or they feel like they are out here in this world alone, and this can be a very cruel world. So I don't think that's healthy. But before I forget, let me ask this question. So, like StreamYard. So I go live like this, but what I also want to do, and I don't know who will be interested, but you know how you can go live and like people can also like call in, or you can connect and like they could talk too. Like, I want that kind of interaction. Um, I don't want it because it ain't just about me. Like, I like to engage people. I like to, you know, um, include people, and this is so one-sided to me. So one of the things that I'm definitely looking at doing is start going live, and like having a way where people could join the conversation if they want to. I mean, the conversation will go on if people don't, but I definitely want to offer that up. And again, I'm still growing and learning. So I'll be watching videos, learning different stuff. So I'm definitely going. I think that's StreamYard. People can call in with StreamYard. I gotta look that up. But I definitely want to offer up that opportunity where other people can call in and we just, talk and collectively. I mean, we need to support each other. At the end of the day, people can act crazy, but we really do need to support each other, and it's important. Like, I support all people within reason, but as far as a black woman, I know I need the support of black women, and I ain't ashamed of that, or I ain't scared to say that. And I know that just as much as I need y'all, y'all need me. And some people act like we don't need each other, but we do. And that ain't taking nothing away from other races, but collectively, we need each other. And I believe in that. I support that. And I'm going to continue working towards that and creating that for us because I love y'all. How can I not? When I see you, I see me. And people that don't understand that, I know that they lacking that self-love that we all need. And I definitely want to keep speaking out and expressing and encouraging and teaching people what I know about that. Because once you start loving yourself, you can love anybody. And you really can. Uh, and I just want people to know more about that self-love. Because I'm telling you, when I look at my life, I thought I loved me. I had no idea what self-love was. None. And like I say, that's why when I hear people talking about it, I just shake my head. I say, everything about them say they have no clue of what self-love is. We do need each other. Had crying spells this week. Amen. We do. I'm sending you hugs, AJ. I posted a couple videos this week. We all have crying spells. Uh, I got teary-eyed because I get compassionate about what I feel. So I'm sending you love and hugs. I will say, and I did a video. I said, it's good to cry. Let it out. I believe in that. I'm sending you a hug too, Jazz. Look, this is a group hug. Um, but we just can't stay in that state where we always crying. Because it becomes unhealthy. But we definitely need to be okay with letting it out. It's got to go somewhere because when you don't let it out, it's eating at your organs, literally in your body. I need to know that I think I'm not alone in my grandma's pet. You aren't alone. Listen, people pass away every day. Um, you said I'm dressed. Um, Death is inevitable. I did a series this week about my father shot his only brother. And I talked about that experience and their death. I posted the last video today about that. We all we all have dealt with pain. Uh, you ain't alone. You ain't gonna never be alone. Death is inevitable. Um, I think life gives us periods to where it gives us a break from the harsh reality that comes with living this life. And then it starts back up. My cousin just passed away. He was in his early 40s. I posted that. I didn't get to go home to Ohio, but they live streamed it. So I think it was last week. I attended that. Um, you said I am Sudical. She's the only person that cared about me, and she's gone. Jazz, let me tell you this. Life is not easy. I know it. I know you're depressed, and my heart goes out to you. I'll tell you this. Group therapy is helpful. Therapy is helpful. Number one, because it's a support system. Two, because you're able to sort out your thoughts. I was just telling my daughter that the other day. Well, don't do that. You need to call 988. Jazz, we need you to call 988. And if you got a gun, what in the world you doing with a gun? We can't we only on this one, I think it's not. Yeah, I'm trying to click on it. Jazz, if you want attention, this ain't the way to get it. And if you need help, this ain't the way to get it either. What I can tell you is your life matter. I think you need to call 988, or like Carmel said, 911, and get yourself some help. Because if you in your life, it's over. We gonna go on, and it's nothing we can do about it. But I'm telling you, you're important and you matter, and you need to be here. We all have experienced loss. Then you don't say things like that. What you need to do is you need to call and get some help, because we can't do anything for you other than encourage you. And we need you to know that you making statements like that and reaching out like that is not going to help. I know you're upset, but some things you just don't say, sweetheart. You Then we need you to call 988. We need you to get off this live and call 988. I didn't already it ain't been, if your grandmother just died, you got to give yourself a chance. You got to give yourself time to get help. See, that's the thing. People, you have to let yourself feel that pain and heal from it. Get with a support system that can help you. You have to love yourself enough to allow yourself to go through this pain and heal from it. I'm not a therapist. I can't help you. But what I can tell you is that you're important, and and we need you here, that you should be here, that give yourself a chance to get better, to look at your phone if you own it. No, don't be sorry. Pain is real. Pain is real. I just want you to get help. I want you to know that you matter, and that you can get some help, and you can get past this, and you can get well. But if you start talking and saying bad thoughts, then bad come. We don't say thoughts like that. We get ourselves some help because we need it. It's help out there. It's people that care. I know it's hard to lose a loved one. I've lost many in my life. There was many days where it was dark. I know what darkness feels like. As a matter of fact, all of us on here does. But guess what? We still here. We fought through it, and we got stronger, and we got better. It's a lot of information out there, and they keep saying call 988. I ain't never called it, but I'm telling you, call it. Call, and I am gay, and people, listen, it don't matter what people do. That's if you're trans and that's what you want to do, then that's on you. That's your life, and live it. But just because people that don't agree with you don't mean you should hate yourself. What's up, Four Eyes? What's going on, Edward? Hey, these Four Eyes, I love these Four Eyes. I got a dozen of Four Eyes. I wear them well, sweetheart. Amen. Tell her she loved. You know, we all go through hard times, but we don't give up. We don't give up, do we, folks? We go through them times, we get stronger, we get better, and when we can't seem to help ourselves, we go get help. That's what 988 is for, Jazz. As long as you love yourself, don't worry about what somebody else think. It's your life. Live your life for you. And Edward, if you, I don't remember seeing your name, so if you ain't following the channel, you and Antoine, subscribe to the channel. It's much love here. Amen. We fall down and we get up. I got that song as soon as I read that in my mind, and that's a fact. Nope. And 2 weeks ago, my best friend got shot and killed in a shootout with the cops. Jazz. Sounds like you need to go to therapy. I'm not either, AJ, but I appreciate that, Antoine. Jazz, then you need to go to therapy, because if you got that kind of trauma in your life, you need some professional help. That thing is way above us. All I can tell you is we support you. We encourage you to live a healthy, happy life and get around a support system and people that care about you and that can support you in your journey on being the best authentic person that you can possibly be. So we wish you the best. And if you're having suicidal thoughts or struggling, 988, seriously. I already reported your profile because you say something like that. That's a serious thing. Ain't nobody playing around here. So I want you to get help and I want you to get well, and I send up prayers for you. But yeah, I'm excited. I really am excited about the possibilities of who we can be as a community. Can nobody just beat you being you? Amen. That's fact. That's fact. Hey, get it off your chest. It's got to go somewhere. Ain't nobody knocking you, Jazz. But when you say some things, we got to report it. I mean, it is what it is. If I say something about my life that ain't right, report me, because I'm trying to survive. So, we here to support you, but there's a lot. There's a lot we can't do. There's some of that you gotta walk on your own and support yourself. Like that saying goes, people can love you and support you, but can't nobody want more for you than you want yourself. You got to know that you're important, and you got to love yourself and want to be strong and to be well. Because can't nobody do that for you. I don't know what I could do. When I get off here, I'll look at it. But again, I'm new to this thing, I'm just trying to build a community of people that care about somebody other than themselves and want to be well. And being an advocate for minority communities. Hey, I was in extensive therapy. Therapy saved my life. I speak out about therapy. I was just talking earlier on this live that my daughter was in therapy. I believe in therapy. I speak out, trying to encourage Black women to adapt to the soft life, and let go of that strong Black woman mentality. Therapy helped me get there. I started to be able to sort out my feelings so I could get well. And yep, you have to have a outlet. And connecting with nature is helpful. I do that all the time. Excuse me, my father used to fish. Matter of fact, the last time he ever fished, I took him and my nephews, and they caught a lot of little tadpoles that day. He's since gone, but Karma, why are you afraid to go to therapy? Joseph, don't forget to subscribe. Don't just thumbs up. Welcome aboard. Stay around a while. You could teach us something or learn something. I wouldn't be afraid. So I did have the wrong attitude when I first went to therapy. So when my job actually sent me to intensive therapy when I had that major depression from that high stress toxic work environment. So I had to go to therapy 3 days a week, and I was on short term disability. I'd never been on sick leave in my life. Um, I had the wrong attitude about therapy. Not so relaxing for the fish. You can't hear their pain. Um, no, I don't look at fishing as pain, but I hear you. Um, um, I looked at therapy, and it was group therapy. I was like, I don't want people to know my business, and so I went in there with a negative attitude, but I was sick as hell. So you know, but group therapy was one of the best experiences I ever experienced because where I am in my life, I'm afraid of what I might find out about myself or what I may reveal. Um, You'd be surprised. I can, from my experience, because I started off again very negative. Don't knock it till you try it. Uh, what I look, therapy got so good. Them people, so on different days, certain people, depending on their schedule, my group therapy sessions was with different groups. That was, my the other patients or whatever. I was uplifting them people so tough. They was excited when I came. I had to actually tell them in group therapy to not let me take over the therapist, the therapist that was conducting the therapy sessions, to not let me take over because it's very easy for me to help somebody else, and I was there to help myself. Because the therapist was actually very comfortable with me facilitating, but I have managed people my whole life, so it came naturally. So I had to learn how to stop helping others and learn how to help myself. And it was very therapeutic, very, very therapeutic. So, but you can also, I went physically, and then pandemic, I also went via FaceTime. They got so many ways now that you can attend therapy if you need to do it in person or via FaceTime. But it says you don't know those around you. What you mean by that, Joseph? Very difficult. I've had therapy in the past, but was never really on. Then you cheating yourself, Carmel. I'm telling you, if you really wanted something out of it, you got to go with the intention that you're going to work to get something out of it. And I actually got a page on Facebook called Let's Get Real and Heal. I launched that in therapy in July 2019. That came about while I was in therapy. I I grew a lot. I grew a lot in therapy, my FaceTime and in person. Yeah, me too, Antoine. I did both of them, and I this something I just told. Yeah, but just because you wasn't ready then might not be the same circumstance now. You might just be ready now. And I told my daughter this the other day. Um, don't wait. You don't have to wait till a traumatic event happen to be in therapy. And therapy is just like how people go get massages or that self care. People have therapists, and it's a form of healthy practice. Like therapists even have therapists. So you don't have to don't wait till you have a traumatic situation to have therapy. Therapy can be a way of life. Uh, you can go and develop that into just a healthy practice, a form of self-care. To have somebody that's educated and skilled that you could just bounce your thoughts out of, off of, when life is nice and normal. You don't, and I believe don't wait till something bad happen. Like, make it a part of your life. We all need health checks, both physically and mentally. People, that stigma for real. Like, people really do want to associate mental health with crazy. What's crazy is going through all that stuff and you ain't doing nothing about it. Antoine, trust me, they've heard it all. So open up, it's healing. Karma, you have a therapist that suits you. Yep. It's so many therapists. Like, my therapist was a black woman. I could relate to her. She was very helpful. Um, it's somebody out there that is non-judgmental that is objective, that and I'll tell you something else, Carmel. Be proactive in finding one sooner than later, because why don't wait to where you need one to find one. That was one of the hardest things, because I hadn't been in therapy before, and I was very fragile when my job sent me to therapy. um it was a high need for therapists, and it was hard to find a therapist because a lot of them was overbooked. It wasn't enough therapists to help serve the need, and it took me like 2 weeks to get in the program. And and when somebody is emotionally or mentally fragile, like, they need somebody now. So don't wait to something happen. I would definitely lock that down sooner than later. That's the lesson I learned, because I was very offended when I finally got in therapy, that it took over 2 weeks. When you're dealing with emotional issues, like, people need help right now. But it wasn't as easy to just find someone, because, again, it's a lot of people that's struggling emotionally, and a lot of people are overbooked, or the resources isn't as plentiful. And so that's just lessons learned there. But I believe in going to therapy, just as a form of a healthy part of your life. Just like people go get their nails and hair done, go get your thoughts sorted out. It's a good practice. It helps to keep the mind healthy. And what people don't understand is the mind is a part of your body. I mean, it should be a part of a routine to get your brain checked, get your mind checked. I mean, really. But it's amen. Exactly. It's self-care. But a lot of people still had that mentality. I remember I seen this girl at work. I could tell she was spazzing out. And I knew she was spazzing out because I used to be like her, and I knew the symptoms. And I encouraged her to go get herself some help, and she did. I said, because you're going to mess around and lose your job. Self-care is self-love. Amen. And it really is. And we need to be more comfortable with it. And actually, Antoine, I talk about, like, men too, like, we have, like, more men need to open up to therapy. Um, it's healthy. It's it's a benefit not to that person, but to everybody in their life. Like, as a culture, we got so far to go, but at least we've started. It's just a lot more that needs to happen. Um, and I think communities, when we can come together and have these authentic, honest conversations like this, and grow larger conversations, and that's when we're gonna start to get ahead of it. Because if honest, truthfully be told, if we think somebody gonna come and save us, good luck. We got to learn how to help ourselves. Um, Amen. And that's true. I mean, and this is true. My ex, I talked to him, and he's done. He's really grown. Um, that's the only reason why I can be friends with him now. He told me, like, some years ago when I was living in Ohio, he said, you was, and fast forward to today, he said, when people start talking about mental health and therapy, he said, you was the first person I ever knew to be talking about mental health. Um, but, like, he's grown emotionally. Like, it's okay. Like, I really had to, like, push, like, you need help. Like, you got a lot of stuff that you need to unpack, and it's nothing wrong with that. It don't make you less than a person, or not a man. It means that you got some things that you need to get in order. Let me go back. It says uh therapy therapy is so that I didn't burden anyone else. Plus, they couldn't truly help me anyways. That's true. Be able to talk in no judgment zone. Absolutely. I mean, we need people um, that they're not emotionally connected, that they can kind of help us sort out our thoughts, or you know be logical in our assessment of our thinking. Um, it says we are some things we can do in between time before therapy to help. What are some things we can do in between time before therapy to help boost? So some of the things I'll tell you, some of the things that I did honestly when I was struggling, I got off social media. I had to decompress. I started to go on a lot of walks. Um, After I got off social media, and then when I got on social media, I was very intentional. When I got on social media, I started speaking out authentically about mental health. That was therapeutic for me. That's when I launched the Let's Get Real and Heal. And I also I didn't deal with people like so. What I noticed too, some people that I talked to when I got off the phone with them, my anxiety would be high. Yep. Meditation. I meditated a lot. Um, I quit talking to certain people because I started to feel very nervous when I got off the phone with them, and that's when I started to learn about anxiety. Didn't know what anxiety was, but I was experiencing anxiety talking to some people, so I had to quit talking to them. Um, and the what is Eckhart Tolle? I actually Antoine I ordered he has a series of CDs on eBay, and I still have a CD player in my car. I ordered his series of CDs, and he talks a lot about the mind and the ego. I would lay down in my bed in the dark listening to his CDs, and in my car um focused on my mind and my ego, learning how to calm my thoughts and my mind, and that was very therapeutic for me. Joseph said, "I'm in the UK. Therapy is not a thing. We just have NHS mental health." I'm not sure what NHS means. Um, Absolutely, you learn your triggers, and I learned mine, and some of my triggers, Antoine, was people, and I had to shut it down. Um, Triggers are real. One of therapists told me read yeah, Eckhart Tolle. I got all this. He's excellent. Who I swear by Eckhart Tolle. I actually was going every year he does a like a retreat, online retreat or something. I was going to sign up for it. I still want to do that. Um Triggers are absolutely real, and that's another part of getting and being honest with yourself. Like, I don't expose myself to toxic or bad energy that's going to trigger me. National Health Service, not private. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. It says number one, get off social media, limit negative videos. Yep. Two, walk. Three, meditate. Four, journal. Five, limit interactions with energy vampires. Yep. Matter of fact, let me see if I can capture that. Thank you, logical thinker. We can make a video about that. But that's real. Um, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't know how to address their stressors or address their struggles. Uh, Antoine said he told me about Eckhart and he was a pastor. Yep, I'm telling you, if you don't know about Eckhart, he's actually from the UK. Um, Very smart man. First time I ever heard of Eckhart, Oprah Winfrey interviewed him, and then I liked him and I looked him up. He helped me manage my calming my mind, because I went through a period where um after catching COVID, I had a severe case of COVID in March 2020 when it first hit, and wasn't nobody coming to help. After I got over COVID, which almost killed me, I was very my anxiety level was off the roof, and Eckhart Tolle helped me calm my mind. I was constantly, it's like the best way I could describe how I experienced anxiety was I was scared all day, every day for 24 hours a day after I came out of COVID, and I had never experienced that. And Eckhart Tolle helped me calm my mind. because it was like I was in a terrified state for weeks. And that's a scary place to be in. I never experienced nothing like that, but I never experienced COVID and almost died neither. So he helped bring me back to where, I mean, I'm not scared. I'm not anxious all the time. Oh, girl, I'm the first person that I know that had COVID. I was among the first 8 documented cases in my city in March 2020. CDC, city health nurse, my job, the hospital, my doctor. Everybody called me after I got well and asked me what medicines I took because they was all sending me medicine through the mail, and they was planning for my death. COVID, a whole nother subject. Um, it's Joseph said, look for happy things and keep it that way. Absolutely. Um, Social media was a trigger for me, especially the videos that talk bad about black women and single mothers. I changed my algorithm. Yeah, I don't and I noticed a lot of those videos too. I shut down social media too because it was like so negative and I just couldn't. It was too much, it was too dark and I had to get away from that. Um Joseph Dispenza is good too. I'm not familiar with who is Joe? COVID is a whole nother thing. Yup. Power of Now is a great book. I heard of Power of Now. Let me screenshot that so I can remember. Um, it's difficult if you have no one to turn. It's very difficult, or people can't see you need help. I went through that. So just think about March 2020, 3 days for my birthday. Um, COVID started hitting me, and it took me several months to get well. They actually was planning for my death. And when nobody come, that's when all the cities was shut down. Can nobody get to me if they wanted to. Um, I, I really, I thought I was going to die. Actually, I was dying until I cried out to God. Um, Says, it's difficult if you have. I so much better about myself. I'm glad, Jazz. You should. You're important and you matter. Yeah, the power of now. I got something dealing with the power of now. I got a lot of if y'all hey Jazz, that's something you can look up. Look up Eckhart Tolle. When you going through that stuff, that's your ego. And Eckhart Tolle can help you manage your ego. Look up Eckhart Tolle. He can help you and I remember when I was struggling in the depression, like Eckhart Tolle helped me recognize no, ain't nobody God but God. Um But Eckhart Tolle can help you. Um, yep, you can look at it. And when I was very depressed, or I would go through moments because I wasn't around, it was months and months before I ever seen people. Um, and I live alone, so wasn't nobody here. Eckhart Tolle helped me manage that, and his message, his teachings is very helpful. It's very, very helpful. Pride and ego, amen. Ego is a dangerous thing. And anytime like I start getting off center, I think about what Eckhart Tolle taught me and I get myself back recenter. Because a lot of people didn't die off of that ego. Um, so check your ego. Check your ego. Ego is a very powerful and dangerous thing. And more times than not, your ego ain't your friend. That's the hard thing to realize when you are low, that you have good qualities. Yup, you need to find and recognize your good points if you can. Amen, Joseph. Remember that, Jazz. Remember that. Joseph's, he taking us to school. Everything he just said is the gospel. But you also got to be intentional. Like it's a lot of good tools out there, and I'm a person that I used to like to read a lot, but for those that don't like to read, I mean they got those ebooks out now that you don't have to read. You can lay there and listen, and that's what I did with Eckhart Tolle. Basically, his book, I laid there and listened to, um so plus two I am also. I think you playing Jazz, but okay. That ego will keep you from taking account. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah, Jazz, relax, cause some of that is a little extra, and I want this space to be enjoyable for everybody. But some things I ain't gonna deal with now. So just relax. Um, but yeah, I have enjoyed talking to y'all for real. Yes, a lot of good books on YouTube. They are. Yep. I did Joseph, I did a video about let it out. Cry. Let yourself do that ugly cry, you know? Um we all need it. Everybody need to let it cry out. Man, woman, period. Everybody need to let that ugly cry out. You just can't live there. Let it out, let it go, and then move on. Where it becomes a problem is when people stay in that state. You cannot stay in that emotional state. I remember one time, I would cry, and I remember when I was depressed. This has been a long time ago, but I remember talking to myself saying, you know what? Just shut up. I told myself because I had cried enough. Yeah, it's therapeutic as long as you don't live in it. Um, and I knew I had cried enough. And some people can get addicted. Again, people can get addicted to pain now. Um, as long as you release in a healthy way, let it out, let it go, move on. Some people when you keep revisiting it, then you got a problem and you need to get yourself some help. Uh, and I've been there. And like I said, I had to tell myself one day to just shut up. Um, because it was time for me to move past that, because you can wallow in pity, and you don't want to do that. Amen. Yeah, I didn't been in that stage where I just cried too much, and it was time for me to quit crying, and I had to like literally sit down and talk to myself in a second person, like, enough of this. It's time to get yourself together. And I did. Um and I've also done that with other people, because I was born under tough love. Like, my mother was very tough love. She had 5 daughters, and she wasn't playing with none of us. So her form of love was tough love. Um, my father was an affectionate person. My mother was a firm person, and I think there's an equal balance to that. Some people act like they can't handle tough love, or they don't use tough love. I don't believe that. Tough love can be very effective um, when used properly. And I do use it. Like, even on here, I do videos, and I'll talk like I'm scolding somebody or talking to them. It's a form of tough love. Like, help people snap at it. Let's get it together. Did you ever get to a point when you couldn't cry anymore about the same things or nothing at all? Yeah. Um, I've had relationships. So I've been out of my current relationship. That's how I'm on the East Coast. Well, one of my job was 50% of the reason, and the other 50% was my ex that I met in Ohio, and we moved back to the East Coast because he from here and he got a good job, and I found a good job and followed him. Um, I dated him 6 years in Ohio. Then it only lasted 2 years. 6 years in Ohio. I dated him almost 10 years. Didn't last, and that was a hard thing because I was a long way from home. So I went through a period where I cried a lot because, number one, now I'm in an environment where I don't really know people. He was the only person I really knew other than people at my job, and I'm over 8 hours away from everybody I know. So that was very hard for me. um, so I cried a lot, and then it came to when I started that healing, when I started looking myself in the face, and I said I quit lying to myself, and I started telling myself the truth and accepting it. That was one of them situations, and the tears just stopped. I remember one time, and this is silly because you can get addicted to self pity. I remember one time I tried to make myself cry, and I just bust out laughing. I said, "You terrible!" Like, um, it was over with, you know. Um, you get to the point to where like you don't even realize it, but you're so addicted to toxic behaviors and unhealthy behaviors that um naturally you think that's how you should respond. And in reality, a lot of those times you trying to force yourself to respond that way. Like that's when you got to really be self-aware and be like, wait a minute. That's when I tell myself to shut up, like just quit. And I it's been years since I didn't cried over that. It ain't no tears there. It's over. But I started with being honest with myself. So hold on. I'm trying to catch up. Let me see. Uh, I thought I was. Now, with the nothing at all, you can't become numb. I'm not numb. So I did a video, it was last week. No, the beginning of this week, and I kind of chopped it up and did segments about the series of my father shot his only brother. Um and I was in elementary school when that happened. So I started telling that story this week, posting it on here, and I went down memory lane and I teared up. And I haven't cried in a long while. But that brought out some emotions. It wasn't bad emotions. It was the emotions of me, the love and the yearning for my father, because my father died in 2009. So it brought those emotions. So I'm still able to cry, but I don't cry often anymore. Ain't no reason to cry. I live a soft life. I live in purpose. I'm trying to help other people, and in the process of continuously helping myself to grow, ain't no reason to cry. So I don't cry often. I used to cry, but that's when I was living in toxic environments, and you know being bothered with situations and circumstances that didn't serve me well. I live intentionally now. I don't live in any environment or engage in relationships that are unhealthy. I'm very intentional with how I live my life. And so with that comes a lot of peace. I don't have things that make me cry. Of course, natural things in life like, uh, death and things of that nature. Like I felt sad when my cousin passed away 2 weeks ago, but for the most part, I'm very intentional with my life, and I have a purpose. Like sitting here with y'all, sharing life experiences, passing down wisdom and knowledge, some that I gained and some that was passed on to me. It's fulfilling. It's healing. So I get my feelings is a lot of enjoyment, and ain't no reason to be crying. I had compassion for others, but as far as over here, I start turning my music on, and that brings me joy. I worked. I mean, I lived a life when it was just me and my son. My younger years, every day I didn't turn on TV. I turned on music, and for many years I didn't turn on my music back on. So you got to be very intentional. Um, Yeah, exactly, Carmen. Hey, we do. We gotta tell ourselves to cut it out. One way into the world and so many ways out. Yep. Let me see. Hey, Jazz, how old are you? Um, Back in the day when I cried my eyes out, it was to release frustration. Now I'm afraid to cry because it makes me feel not in control. I think that's something that therapy can help you kind of navigate through, Carmel. Um, Again, I know therapy can help, and I know you need therapy because if you're afraid to cry, then that within itself is an issue. Okay, Jazz, you real young. Um, Everybody like nobody should be afraid to cry. Well, happy pre-birthday, Jazz. Um, I encourage therapy, Carmel, because everybody got to have release, and it's okay to cry. Maybe therapy can teach you how to manage your tears and use it as a form of therapy, you know, until you get to the point to where you're on the other side, you know. Because if you're afraid to cry, then there's something in there that you need to let out. And yeah, happy sweet 16. You got a lot to celebrate, Jazz. And that's what you need to do. Celebrate it. Yeah, for real. Work on that, Carmel. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful life on the other side, and you deserve it. We all do. And that's why it's important for us to connect like this and to speak authentically, because a lot of people don't know how to release and they don't know what to do, and they robbing themselves of a happy, healthy life. And you got more people that suffer silently than not. It's a lot of people that's suffering, but they silent about it, and they robbing themselves of a healthy life. And that's not a good way or a good place to be. So I think when you connect with people that can relate and that can offer up wisdom and experiences and encouragement, then you're on the right track. Says, amen. Yeah, therapy will help with that. Learning how to channel those emotions. I'm telling you, therapy was one of the best things that happened to me. I went in there with a very, very negative attitude and came out singing praises of joy. We are taught, as you said earlier, by those around us not to be emotional or to portray problems to others. Exactly. And we have to get past that. I mean, I know this to be true. Everyone is not mentally healthy enough to have a front row seat of your life, and everyone isn't privy to your story. But there there are people that are healthy enough that you can share with and that can support you in your healing and your healthy journey. Carmel, start with gratitude. Yep, start with gratitude. I just posted a video about gratitude. Do three things: a gratitude, self care. It was gratitude, journal gratitude, self care, and I forget the third one. My mind just went blank. Thank God for everything from small to big. Amen. Um, not to be emotional. And see, that's another thing, Joseph. I think that's bigger for men to not portray problems or emotion. Men have to, and so many men are struggling with their emotions and really battling mental health, that we have to normalize men getting help and men being okay with expressing themselves, and it's not a form of weakness or, you know, looking at a man um, in a negative light, you know, when he's having emotional issues. Because at the end of the day, everybody suffer. If he married or and has kids, if his mental health isn't well, everybody feel that. We got to start really encouraging, supporting men to get well. Let me see. We need to find someone trustworthy of our trust to be able to find help. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Joseph, you welcome here, and anytime you want to express yourself, we support you, and we glad you're here. Um, yeah, the lack of emotional intelligence amongst men is astounding. Amen, and that's true. And to be honest, and I'm gonna just be honest, every man I ever dated should have been in therapy, could have used therapy. And that's no slight against them. That's not talking about them. I'm being honest and I'm putting the facts out there. And me right with them. So it ain't like, oh, they needed therapy and I didn't. We all needed therapy. The difference is I went and got therapy. But it's hard to get men to commit and to go to therapy. I actually have a girlfriend that I work with. Uh, I encouraged her to go to therapy with her husband because their marriage is struggling, and he went to one session. I told her, I said, you got to continue to go regardless of him. The show does not stop because of him. You want to take him with you, but you can't force nobody. And sometimes you got to walk it alone. So it's important to encourage men. Like, we all in this thing together. Um, it is a safe place. Um, and I know we can be so much stronger collectively when we create the opportunity for people to speak authentically and support them um, with their healing. Like, people need a safe space. People need to be supported. And I actually posted that back in, I think it was 2020, on LinkedIn, talking about men's mental health. That post got it got a lot of traction because a lot of people was feeling it, thinking it probably, but nobody said nothing. I posted on LinkedIn and I got so much feedback. I mean, a lot of men chimed in, agreeing and thanking me for speaking up. And one guy said, what can we do about it? Like, men need help too. It's a real thing. You know, we all, Antoine, amen. And we need to do more of that. I think there needs to be more men speaking out. And one thing I think would be beneficial, because there's definitely like this toxic um im- impression of black men and women to come out collectively supporting one another and speaking about these subjects, and being in alignment and agreement with one another and walking together to send the same message. I think it's powerful. And I'm definitely for it. I definitely want to participate, and anybody that want to, let's make it happen. Um I'm convinced my 28-year-old brother to go to therapy. He said he broke down the first session and he feels amazing. Amen. And continue to encourage your brother to go to therapy. Um Joseph Fags. It's so hard to be tough on my son, but it's necessary for his future. Yep. And you know what? I got a son. So I got two kids. My son, he actually just turned 29 last month. We talked about therapy his younger years. Because guys go through emotions, and sometimes they just don't know how to manage them. And a prime example is that is like a lot of these guys they don't have coping skills, and when somebody break their heart, they don't know how to process that and manage it, and they flipping out and killing they wives and girlfriends. Like, that's a real thing. um we got to support people in their pain and in their healing. And I think collectively, just as a support system for men, is huge. It's huge. I get excited thinking about that. Just think about, like, having having a program and a support system in place that's authentic, that really help men heal, and men are truly healing along with women, because we all need healing equally. um I don't think one is greater than the other. I think African American women are being more open to seeking therapy than men currently. um but we need to increase on both sides. Like, the numbers still don't need to be, aren't where they need to be. Like, we really got to get ahead of this mental health epidemic. And I'm for it, Antoine. Seriously, I'm gonna figure out that um StreamYard and Logical Thinker. That might be one thing when we was discussing about, like, I got to figure out that StreamYard, like, we can go live where we co-host, and then have people call in and talk about, how to support men's mental health, and and women's journey, because at the end of the day, we all need each other. And we better together than we are apart. And it's a positive thing that can turn into a beautiful thing once we all work together. And I'm excited about it. We will be unstoppable as a community if we all got therapy. Amen. And it's okay to need therapy. It's okay to need therapy. Like, when I started speaking out about mental health, I started speaking out July 2019. I absolutely knew nobody that looked like me that was talking about mental health because everybody was still associating it with crazy. I didn't know one black person that was talking about mental therapy. Um, Everybody matter. That ain't nobody is disputing that. There's a different definition about Black Lives Matter that has nothing to do with all lives matter. But this ain't the time or place. That's another day. But everybody do matter. That's why Black Lives Matter. Um, I'm glad you feel better. Uh, when I started talking about mental health, so many people, and because when I started talking about it initially, I think I had like a 1,200, 1,300 friends on Facebook. You either, and I knew everybody because I wasn't one of those that connected with people I didn't know. So I either grew up with you or I worked with you. Like we had some kind of history. And you wouldn't believe so many people that inboxed me thanking me for speaking up and speaking out about mental health and they struggle. But it was still hush hush for them. I was the only one talking about it. And then as time went on, I started seeing more people that I knew that I was connected with that started speaking up about mental health. But the problem is somewhere we have lost our way. They started speaking about that mental health. Now it's just buzzwords. Ain't nobody doing nothing about it. And you gotta be boots on the ground. Like this stuff requires work. You just can't sit here and talk about it. What are we doing about it? Because I'm telling you now, they ain't doing nothing about it. So we gotta take matters in our own hand. Joseph said, I think Joseph said, if you think little of yourself and your value to others, it's difficult to keep those around you. I agree. Um, a feeling comes from a thought. If you think it, you feel it. People have to learn how to manage their thoughts. I manage mine. I think the world of me. Not wasn't always like that, but I do today. Um, some blacks see therapy as taboo. I know they do. Not some, a lot more. It's more still do than not. But we need to change that because the truth of the matter is a lot of us is walking around here very dysfunctional, but we've normalized dysfunction and we got to change that. We got to change the trajectory of um, what mental health challenges and struggles are because a lot of people that is running around here thinking they normal, they need to be on medication, to be honest. Uh, I'm brainstorming right now, but okay. Um, Antoine is not just black thing; it's an all people thing. It's a thing for all. Yep. That's what I'm saying, Boost. Are people putting therapy to good use? I can see you are, but what about thousands of other? A lot of people. So each individual case is different because everybody's different and everybody's emotional struggles, are different levels, different needs. It's all about where you are as a person. I can't speak for nobody. All I can say is those that really want to get something out of it, gonna do the work. Those that don't, won't. And you got a lot of people that they don't want no help. The saying that people are addicted to pain, that's real. There's a lot of people out here that's addicted to pain and addicted to dysfunction and ain't got no problem with it. I was addicted to pain. Every relationship I had was painful. I realized one day I don't want I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to live like this. It's a better life than this. So let me learn how to love myself because I'm doing something wrong. And I needed to learn how to feel, live, and think differently. It was a long process. It was a lot of work, but it was something that I needed. I knew I needed it and I knew I was going after it because that was the only way I was going to survive and live a healthy life. They never, let me see. Never take meds. Keep it natural if you can. That's what I'm hoping for. Um, I say yes and no to that, Joseph. I went through a stage where I needed meds and I was very okay with it. And it helped me. What I learned about medication is that has a negative stigma as well. When I took meds, they made me feel normal. It took I didn't feel like I took anything. I used to call them the normal pills, um, because it made me feel normal. I was able to go throughout my day productively. I wasn't in deep thought. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't stuck and couldn't get out of bed. But I had a doctor that told me too that at some point, like you have to learn how to deal with your anxiety and your emotions, and manage them outside of medication. But medication is a form to help you. I like some people got the mentality, oh, people that took medicine like you a zombie and like you drowsy. Nah, mine was just like taking an aspirin. Like my prescription said take it in the morning, and I got up and did my day normally. I just wasn't irritated and flipping out, feel like I had to lash out at people or depressed or in deep thought. So it depends. I got mixed feelings with that. When I needed it, I used it and it was very helpful. I think that's an individual thing, but I think it's not something that you should rely on for the rest of your life unless you got a chemical imbalance, and some people do. And if they need it, then they need to be on it instead of being out here flipping out. It says they should make it vital to have therapy. Got to work the process and trust process and have faith. I agree. Um, was How can you call 988 and you still on here, Jazz? I think you need to focus on 988 and see what they talking about. This ain't a game. Seriously, if you need help, then don't be on here. Talk to them people. Cause life ain't a game and ain't nobody on this live right now playing. Um, But yeah, I'm glad y'all chimed in. I have enjoyed each and every one of y'all. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I want you to come back and uh, offer up your wisdom and your support is needed and it's welcome and it's necessary. Um, I was told that I should be dead by a doctor whilst homeless with the bad pneumonia, but I'm still here. I still get pneumonia. Hey, because you're supposed to be here and you continue to okay, Jazz, I'm glad you did. And if you need to call him back, make sure you do. Joseph, uh doctors ain't above God. You here because you supposed to be here, and you keep fighting and you keep holding on. Hey, Aquarius, welcome, welcome. Look, we done been on here over an hour. I'm glad you came in, girl. We've been talking about everything. You could have benefited from this. When I posted, you have to come back and listen to our conversations. We done had some real authentic, honest conversations on here, and safe space. We all here to support one another. Um, soft life is right. We talked about soft life. We deserve a soft life. That's what we talking about. Get rid of all those toxic environments and situations, and get to that healthy, happy side, because we deserve a happy life. Um, yeah, make sure you do. Karma, what is TH? But I'm glad you're on here, Aquarius, and I'm glad to see you got up and about. That's what we got to do. And some days we get off track a day or two. We just can't stay there. When you need a day of rest, and then get up. And we keep going at it. That's what life's about. And we support each other. It's 3:25. You in the UK, right, Joseph? Fishing. Jazz, you just changed your name. You all over the place. Um, thanks. Thank you, Carmel. Make sure you come back if you leave, and I really enjoyed you. So, oh yeah, it's what time is it here? I want to visit the UK. I worked at this college on the weekends. It's 10:26. Um, and a lot of the students, well, it was a decent amount of students that was from the UK. I love the accents. Um, no, it ain't a bad thing. Um, Antoine, you what? Hey, Joseph, so I suffered from insomnia and exhaustion as well. Let me tell you one thing. The best thing, if you ain't getting out the house, the best way to deal with insomnia is exercise. I'm telling you. Get out that house, get some exercise in, you'll pass out every night. When I stayed in the house and I didn't get out and didn't get no exercise, I remember one time I got scared. I was up for almost 3 days. Please do, Antoine, for real. Karma, I really enjoyed you, lady. You part of the family. You and Antoine both. Uh, don't forget about us anytime we going live. That we all in this thing together. For real, we family. Believe that. We need each other. You you don't have to ask that. You welcome back again. We in this thing together. I don't. That was something I said I'm gonna go live on Saturdays and then I think I'm gonna try to go live maybe 2, 3 times a week. I might start off with twice a week. Saturdays and maybe I'll put that I'll try to post and see what if I get any feedback. But definitely um on Saturdays, because that's my free day. And maybe one day in the middle of the week. I don't know. I'll see what people say. Y'all can give me some suggestions, but I want to stay connected because we all need each other, and I'm here for y'all, and y'all here for me just as much as I talk to y'all. I read every comment, and y'all breathe life into me. Like we all people, and ain't nobody playing no games. There's a lot of people out there playing, but we ain't playing over here, and we want to support and push each other in the right direction so we can have happy, healthy lives because that's what it's about. And I want to support y'all in y'all journey as y'all support me in mine. You bet not, Aquarius. You know I'm gonna be looking for you. All right, Karma. I'm gonna hold you to that. God bless you. Says so try. But when I worked, it didn't knock me out. I used to work some long days. My longest days was at ooh. Well, you gotta, I'm telling you, exercise is exercise and eating healthy. Um, that ain't something like if you tried it and it didn't work, then keep trying it because that is the solution. You a healthy body you gonna put it to rest. If it's laying around, you doing yourself a disservice. I had to do my mother that way because she got locked in the house with after COVID and got so used to being in the house she didn't want to come out. And she older, and she suffers from insomnia. And the key to that is exercise and eating healthy. You have to exercise. Okay, I'll post my. Okay, I'll do it the day before. I'm definitely gonna do Saturdays, maybe Saturday evenings. But I think definitely one day throughout the week also, because I need to get more comfortable with coming on live because I just don't. But I like coming on live. I like connecting with people. So yeah, exercise is healthy. I mean, that's a part of life. Your body needs it. And as as helpful as it is, it's hard. It's a hard discipline for a lot of people. But whether people want to believe it or not, excuse or not, it is what it is. Exercise will breathe life into you. Period. I don't know what a circadian rhythm. I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with what it is. But I'm telling you, Joseph, start exercising. I mean, you know, start small, work your way up. Even go for daily walks. But I'm telling you, I suffer with insomnia very bad, and exercise and eating healthy helped me get back on track. And I'll tell you something else. I'll tell you something else I like that I do. I like those is the ASMR videos, with the people that whisper. They that or a calming, like you can get a calming app. That whispering that helps me go to sleep at night. I click over on TikTok and I got my regulars that I listen to, and before I know it, I be knocked out. I'm telling you, I suffer for about 2 years with insomnia. I don't suffer with insomnia anymore. My brain and my memory is shot to pieces. It is your natural sleep. Yeah, hey, my brain and my memory was shot to. Listen, I suffered from a severe case of COVID. I was deemed a long hauler. My memory was shot. I still struggle with memory. Um, my brain, I went through a long periods of confusion. Getting my life back on track, exercise, eating healthy, doing healthy rhythmic things helped me get back on track. You know what? You can lose a lot of stuff. I stand by what I said. Exercise is the best. Exercise and healthy natural foods is your best healers. We can come up with a whole bunch of stuff. That's the law of life. Exercise and healthy eating. A lot of the symptoms we have is because of bad food and we don't get exercise. There's a lot of stuff that's in our food that we don't know what the heck is in it and we digesting it. It's a lot of food I don't even eat anymore and I feel better. Yes, I had COVID twice. I'm so glad you said something about memory because I was like that too after COVID. Heck yeah. And I still have brain farts. Um, I got you, Joseph. Well, take it slow. Minimum, if you can go for walks and eat healthy, at least do that for yourself. Nah, Aquarius, you ain't tripping. Listen, I panicked so bad. My memory was so shot. I was afraid. I thought I was gonna lose my job. I mean, COVID was the worst. I ain't never experienced nothing like that in my life. Um, and I couldn't remember nothing. And I still have my periods. It's much better now. Like, I tell you something else, and I still suffer from COVID because I'm a long hauler, the aftermath. Like, I'll be talking and I'll think I said a word and it'll be the wrong word. Like, I still see after effects of COVID, and I'm not as witty as I used to be. I used to be very witty. Now, my thinking is paused. It's not as quick with it as I used to be. And it all started after COVID. But um I had a high fever for probably 4 or 5 days before I went to emergency. And it was so early back when I got COVID, I had to get a prescription to get in the door because that's when the police with their shotguns was outside of the hospital and you wasn't getting in. I think I was the first person in the COVID unit in the hospital. Yeah. COVID ain't no joke. Like a lot of people out here still suffering after effects from COVID. And that ain't nothing to play with. I suffer still to this day. I'm a lot better than I was, but I ain't the same. I am not the same and I know I'm not. But I used to struggle with that. For the first couple years, I struggled with that. Now here lately, I don't struggle with I accept where I'm at now. I just try to push forward and try to get stronger as I go. But I'm better than I was, but I ain't as good as I was before COVID. I can at times remember names, conversations, but have partial remnants of things is difficult not to show it. Yeah, it is. I can totally identify. I can sit there and I think some of it is with age, but I definitely see a difference and know a difference because of what happened to me with COVID. It makes me feel better to hear someone else understand what COVID. Heck yeah, I'm the first person I know to have COVID. And I almost died from COVID. Literally, like the health insurance company, I was talking to my family, like nobody thought I was going to survive. And then when I finally did, it took me like 2 months to get well. Um, Everybody start calling me Aquarius. City health nurse, CDC, my job, my doctor, the hospital. Everybody wanted to know what medicines you took. I was dying. I literally was dying. And I actually cried out to God to take my life. It was so bad. I asked him to either take my life or heal me. And I felt his presence. It's like not being able to read and write without anyone knowing. Yeah, it's hard. That long COVID talk is for another discussion. I have not been the same since having COVID. It is. Matter of fact, we're gonna go live and talk about. I actually thought about that, so this must have meant to happen. That I was gonna do a live and say Where my long haulers at? Because I'm a long hauler. And it ain't no joke. What COVID did to me ain't no joke. And I know I ain't alone. It changed me. And I still struggle to this day because I used to be real witty, you know? And my words flow easily. I don't speak as clear, as fluently. I pause because I gotta think. I gotta get my thoughts together. I wasn't like that before COVID. I have a delay now, and all that's due to COVID. I used to stay tired. Let me tell you a question. You know how I start feeling better? I take this liquid vitamin called NutriBurst. NutriBurst brought me back to life. I feel like my mind is missed a beat. Yeah, I know mine has missed a beat and it's still missing a beat. And that's a real thing. You are not alone. And you know what? I appreciate y'all being honest, authentic, because that lets me know I ain't alone. Because I'm telling you, I watch some of these videos and I see myself pause and stuff. In the old me, I could just flow with my words. My thoughts come out quickly. Nah. Sometimes I'll be talking and I just totally forget what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's yeah, um for real, look for you might can find it. If not, email me. I can put you in touch with somebody because I know, like, it's called TLC, Total Life Change. They don't want to sell it, but a friend, when after I caught COVID and I was so drained, like I had zero energy. It was like it took the life out of me. A friend of mine in Ohio, she said, "I'm gonna help you feel better," because I started doing videos about COVID because wasn't nobody talking, and God told me to speak up, so I start talking about COVID. I'm the first person I know to start talking about COVID because when I came out, people was acting like you had the cooties, like how they did AIDS. Like, wasn't nobody saying they had COVID. I'm the first person that I know had COVID. I know others had it, but wasn't nobody saying it. She sent me medicine and said, "I'm gonna help you get better." And I'm telling you, I was so drained. I had zero life in me. When she mailed me that NutriBurst, I was up at 5 in the morning making up my bed, washing clothes. I said I will never be without it. I got some in my refrigerator now. I don't play with it. I keeps me some NutriBurst in my life. NutriBurst brought me back to life. You sound like myself, but haven't had COVID, but have suffered the symptoms you are discussing. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something else that I know to be true. People want to feel energized and healthy and all that, but if as you get older, you need supplements. And if you don't take some kind of vitamin and you ain't getting no exercise in, you ain't eating healthy, you ain't gonna feel good. It is what it is. We have to learn how to help ourselves. Um, yeah, you gotta get a healthy routine, Joseph, and you gotta get some supplements in your life. Like that's like I was telling my mother. I said, "You older, like you just can't sit around, like you need vitamins. You talk about you drained and you ain't doing nothing to help yourself, you ain't gonna feel better." We all need supplements. It is what it is. Natural supplements. And if you ain't getting any natural supplements, then you ain't gonna feel better. For me, COVID made me feel like something traumatic happened to me and I was put to sleep. But when I woke up, it felt like I was in recovery from something traumatic. Yeah, that's what exactly, Karma. I was I was in recovery from something traumatic and I was scared for months. Like I was in shock. Like when I say that's when I learned about what anxiety was. Like I was scared. Like just think about sitting around all day every day and you scared 24 hours a day. Okay, that's all I got about that right now. Yeah. So, yeah, that happened to me, and that's a real look. I used to pray to God to take that fear away. I was scared. It shook me to my core. I ain't never went through nothing like that in my life. That's a real thing. Like for real, COVID shook me, and it took me, and it wasn't no quick turnaround. Like I, I would say I caught COVID in 2020. This year in 2023 is the first year that I'm starting to truly feel like me again. Although me with some hiccups, like not me 100%, because again, I still had those pauses. Things aren't as fluent as they used to be, but I was a mess. I was a mess for 2 years. I was scared as hell. That COVID shook my soul, it shook my spirit, my mind, just everything. And it's been a long journey to get back to me. And I'm just thankful to God that I weathered the storm and I kept pushing through, and I'm gonna keep pushing through. I'm glad to know that you can understand because I'm telling you, it shook me to my core. And I mean, at some point, it was so bad. I had an executive director at work. He met with me because I was coming out of a major depression when I caught COVID. So I was battling two things. Um, my executive director at my job met with me for an hour every third Wednesday, and he helped me get well. I'm thankful to him for the rest of my life because he took time out with me that he didn't have to take, and it helped me heal because I was shook. I was shook, and something had happened to me that I didn't know how to navigate. Look, I was so confused. I paid $6,000 for a life coach to try to help me try to put my life back together because I was so confused. I didn't know what to do. And Lord knows, I would have never gave up no $6,000, but I was that confused. I gave up $6,000 trying to get somebody to help me to get back right. I was that jacked up. I was jacked up. Yeah. We're going to have to talk about COVID another day because COVID is a whole nother subject. Whew. Thank you, Lord. For real. Oops. But look, y'all, I'm about to get off. But look. So definitely on Saturdays, I'm going to go live. Matter of fact, what I'll do is on Fridays, I'll send out, you know how you can create those notifications and people can like click on it and say they waiting. I'll do that for on Friday so y'all know when I'm going live on Saturdays, and then I'll try to figure out another day throughout the week. But I have authentically enjoyed y'all. I really have, and I appreciate y'all sticking with me and staying on here. It's been a blessing, and it's been very pleasant. Tony, welcome. If you haven't subscribed to the page, please do. We talk about mental health in the minority community and just supporting people in an authentic space to live a healthy life. And what's going on, Game Ducky? I don't know who you are, but you welcome here. If y'all haven't subscribed, let's grow this community and 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 be a support for each other because we all need somebody. And y'all in good hands over here. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be looking out for notification. I'll do it in the day before I go live. I'm going to start coming live more often. And let's get real and heal. And we all can do that together. God's blessings. Y'all have a good night. You're my son. What's my son's name? Amen. And Joseph, you do the same. I do got a son. I just want to make sure this ain't my son. And Joseph, make sure you come back. I really enjoyed you. And I appreciate your contributions, and we rooting for you. Um, Bob, you ain't my son, but you're welcome here. Anyway, y'all have a good night. Look out for the notifications. Let's get real and heal. And one thing's for sure, we can do that together. God blessings. I'll see y'all next time.